Many of you experience an early understanding of programming coming to you and dictating your lives as you continue to move through those lives. I did not have that. I was brought up in an essence community, a community that was born of love, and expressed love, and expressed a knowing of who we were within the God source within each and every one of us. That is the beginning of learning of who I was. And as my childhood moved on, I was a child, just like any other child. First a toddler, then a young child, then a teenager, just as anyone else would have. But I expressed differently because of not having that programming within me. I expressed as I grew older and knowing an inner knowledge who I was. And that led me to doing a great deal of research within the holy works that were available at that time, the scriptures. And I delved into those scriptures and learned much more them. But I remember, as I read those scriptures over and over, I had an inner knowing of what they were really about. Not as you would read them, but as you would know them. And that is how I came to my understanding and my knowledge that I could then begin to impart to others at an early age. And I did that with my friends, childhood friends, early on. Whenever I could, I would be the teacher. First, we must remember we did sign up for this shift of an age while maintaining our human spacesuit. We signed up for entering this new world completely blindfolded. This time is feeling more like the ultimate escape room. We are working to escape the old world, so as to enter the one that is now emerging. We can all feel that this new world exists. If it wasn't there, we all would have given up by now, or never would have begun the search at all. Just the fact that we are striving forward in all this uncertainty is proof that there is something just new ahead for us all. Our visions and intentions are strong and unshakable by any outside force on earth. Unconsciously and unfortunately, while we are sleeping, a lot of our energy is being expelled to armor against this new incoming but unknown energy. Anything that is out of the ordinary or unusual or considered abnormal to our human spacesuit will be considered as an outside threat, if it is or not. Unless we are superconscious, we have very little control over what our body's autopilot does while we are sleeping. We can easily wake up tired, confused, and turned upside down, or we may not sleep well at all. We all have our well-stocked spiritual toolboxes by now, but here are a few quick suggestions to help train your consciousness to be open to the new frequencies. And then you were trained, you were informed, you were shown scenarios, you were connected with souls that would meet up with you when upon this mission. You were drilled in order to understand the intensity of that which you must overcome. It was explained to you that there would be moments of glory and moments of despair. It was expressed in great detail the trials and discomfort that would leave you undone. All this was shown to you, and you were asked again if you felt you were the right soul for the mission. You were given an option to back down. You were put through your paces. You were told an atrocities that would be exposed. You are set tasks to give you strength both mentally and physically, even though not yet in your human incarnation. In no way were you able to skip the ordeal that was presented to your soul's understanding of just how hard the mission was to be. But as I continued to grow older through my teenage years, it was time to move on. It was time to go about my father business. As I said, father being my higher God self, as many of you know as Sananda. I was opened up to many more avenues of expression, of knowledge that was given forth to me. I learned, studied, grew. I practiced. I was given various initiations throughout those sojourns. Initiations that would take me further and further into the inner knowings of my being, to the point where I learned how to manipulate my body. To manipulate the environment around me, which at the time was simply a knowing of science. That's it all it was learning a science that in many cases was a metaphysical science, but a science nevertheless. And as I learned and practiced, and became initiated in the ancient wisdom, I was able to then come back to my family, to my friends, to those who knew me. But going back just a little bit, I was not born again in the winter time. I was born in the spring. I was sent as the only one from God to come forward and bring the knowledge forward, but again, I was not. During our waking hours, it is becoming painfully clear the games we play with ourselves, and the games others are playing to try to control us. Pay attention to these things and learn from them. If we are remembering them and feeling them, we are healing them. Our fantasies and dreams that are not based on future reality will begin to fade away, and the true reality of who we are and what we are here to do will begin to rise up. Keep in mind that what we are here to do could very well feel more like a fantasy than a reality right now. But I have been told over and over that our future world could be a complete and total surprise, and this is more likely the case than not. The pure empathic ones, it might be painfully clear about the lies we've been telling ourselves in order to stay in situations that are not healthy, as well as all the places where we have not loved or valued ourselves as much as we value others. We are learning to have stronger boundaries. This isn't an act of protection, it's an act of self-love. When the exact moment is upon you, then will be opened unto you, and your heart will feel a strength that says yes, and you will go about your days in a different way from before. You will have a feeling within that cannot be knocked down by anything you hear or see. You, the warrior of light, will know. You will know exactly what it is you came to do. Do we not already know that? As in, hold the light, shine the light, be the light, anchor the light. Yes, from that perspective, with respect from that level of understanding of what that means. Yet, we tell you this for you to muse upon. When the time is upon, the time of transformative recognition,